Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. As always, I greet those of you that are watching on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. And for those of you that are listening on my podcast, Nonprofit Niggas with Jennifer Yarbrough, I want to tell you all that your support has been amazing. I'm going to be sharing this space and this platform with some other experts this year, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from their voices, from their perceptions, and from their personal experience as a nonprofit leader. Giving you all insight, giving you information, giving you tips and structural um, guidance so that your organization is not just filled with passion, but also filled with a strategy so that you can fulfill your purpose. All right. I want to have a real serious conversation with you, particularly now because we are going into a new year. If you review your donors from last year to this, right? Looking at how many of your donors are giving, are continuing to give, how many of your donors have lapsed and probably fallen off the charts as they were, okay? I want to talk about the real reason that donors stop giving or aren't giving to your organization. And it's not because they don't care. All right. It's not because they don't care. I want to break down for you a misunderstanding that has quietly destroyed thousands of nonprofit organizations. And this is what the truth is: donors aren't avoiding you because they don't care. Donors are avoiding you because they don't feel safe giving yet. Okay? This is a huge misunderstanding that is quietly destroying thousands of nonprofit organizations. Donors are not avoiding you because they don't care. They're not avoiding you because they don't care. Okay? They are avoiding you because they don't feel safe yet. Let me be very clear. Donors want to give. People want to make a difference. They want their money to help others. They want to contribute to meaningful causes. The issue is not willingness, it's trust. Okay? So today I want to talk about why donors hesitate, what donors need to see before they give, why passion alone does not convert a person to trust your organization or to contribute to an organization. I want to talk about how administrative readiness influences donor decisions. What makes donors trust you? What signals donors subconsciously look for? And how to fix the gaps? And what to do right now to reverse the lack of momentum. All right. This is a very truth telling conversation. And for those of you guys who follow me, you know I'm a very direct person. I'm going to tell you the truth, even if you didn't ask for it. And I hope that it's helpful. You're welcome. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. Many founders, many of you think that people don't donate to me because they don't care. Or you may think if donors believed in my mission, they would give. Or the community doesn't want to support me. No, that's not the issue. Honestly, it's not personal at all. Okay. The issue is that donors make risk based decisions, not emotional decisions. All right. So this is not a personal thing. They're not denying you personally. They're not rejecting you personally. Right. No, the issue is donors make risk based decisions, not emotional ones. All right. So here's the donor's internal process. Okay. When they're making a decision to give, this is what they're thinking about. Okay. These are the questions that they're asking themselves. They're asking themselves, do I trust this organization? Do I believe that they will use the money responsibly? Will they keep me informed? Will they still exist in 6 months to a year? Can they manage money without chaos? What is chaos? Jen, I have an organization, Jen, but we don't have a budget. Or Jen, we don't have any funding. Or Jen, we don't have any donors and supporters. And Jen, we don't have enough money to operate. Jen, we don't have any money in the bank to be able to support or to even guarantee sustainability for this organization. Jen, I'm doing everything by myself. I don't have any board support. I don't have any administrative support. I'm doing everything by myself. That's chaos. Donors are not rejecting your mission. They are protecting their money. And frankly, that's smart. There are certain trust signals that donors subconsciously look for. And most new nonprofit organizations don't know this. So they intentionally or unintentionally send out red flags. Okay. Most new nonprofit organizations don't know this. And so they unintentionally send out these red flags. And here are the biggest trust signals donors want to see. Number one, a clear structure, not we're trying to figure it out. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I don't know what to do next. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but we don't have financials. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I don't know how to find a board. Jen, I started my nonprofit and I'm paying for everything out of my pocket. Jen, I started my nonprofit and I'm doing everything out of my own, I'm doing everything by myself. That says you're trying to figure it out. The donors want to see here's our system and our accountability process. All right. So, one of the biggest signals, the biggest red flags is clear structure. The next one is organized finances, not all donations go directly to the program. Everything we bring in, Jen, goes directly to the program. They want to hear here's how we allocate funds responsibly, right? Number three, active leadership, not I'm doing everything by myself, Jen. I'm overwhelmed. But they want to see we have roles, we have oversight, and we have shared responsibility. They want to see transparency, not trust us. Trust us. This is what we do. Trust us. Right? They want to see here's our plan, our progress, and our reporting calendar. They want to see communications, not we'll update you later. They want to see here is what we accomplished with your support. These trust signals are what donors invest in, not your passion. Did you hear what I said? They entrust in your organizational structure, your communication, your ability, your capacity, not your passion. This is where many of you get stuck. You think if I do more good work, donors will notice. If I serve more people, money will come. If I post more on social media, support will increase. But I want you to listen. More program activity does not equal more donor trust. Donors aren't funding activity. And many of you don't know the difference between activity and impact. You do not know the difference between activity and impact. Okay? Donors are not funding activity. They're funding the organization behind the activity. Did you hear what I said? They're funding the organization behind the activity. And this is why you see nonprofits with great programs and no money, nonprofits with okay programs with tons of money. The difference is not the program. The difference is not the program. The difference is the administrative structure. Donors are asking themselves, can this organization handle the responsibility of my gift? Not that you can just spend their money, but can you handle the responsibility of their gift? Will they use my money wisely? Is this leadership stable? Do they understand budgeting? Can they report back to me directly? Here's the most, this is what most of you will never hear. I'm telling you what most of you will never hear. They just won't give. They won't tell you why they're not giving. I'm telling you why they're not giving. Okay. The information that I'm sharing with you, you might never hear from anywhere else. Donors aren't giving to your program. Donors are giving to your organizational capacity. They want to see multiple streams of revenue, long-term planning, clean financial separation. For those of you that are funding everything out of your pocket, that's a big red flag. They want to see functioning governance. They want to see a reporting system. They want to see consistent communication. They want to see leadership stability. You are the CEO. You are the CEO. You are the executive director. It is your job, your responsibility to ensure that the organization is structured to grow. Is structured for sustainability, not structured so that you can do this program. When these things are missing, donors hesitate. And it's not because they don't care, but it's because they can't see your strength yet. They can't see your strength. And that's not your program. Let me tell you guys the cost of not being donor ready. When donors don't trust the organization, here's what you lose. You lose reoccurring donors. They don't feel safe giving you monthly. You will lose first-time donors because they can't clearly see how their money will be used. You lose corporate sponsors because your reporting isn't strong enough. You will lose grants because funders can't risk poor management. You will lose partnerships because there's no administrative structure to support collaboration. The most expensive mistake that many of you are making is thinking donor trust comes automatically with nonprofit status, right? Just because you got your 501c3, just because you got that piece of paper or a program, that does not automatically trigger trust. It doesn't. Donor trust must be built intentionally, consistently, structurally. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you how to become a trustworthy organization, even if you're small, even if you're just starting out. I'm going to tell you, how do you become a trustworthy organization? All right. Here is how you start building trust. If you're a new nonprofit, if you're a growing or thriving nonprofit, no matter the size, okay? The first thing is get your financial systems organized. Separate accounts, track budgets, and clear categories, okay? Strengthen your governance. That's your board meetings, that's your documentation, your budgets, your financials, right? Document how decisions are made. Communicate consistently, right? Monthly updates, wins, impact, progress. Build a diversified revenue. All right. At least 3 to 5 streams of revenue before going after grants. Okay. Before going after grants. Now, why is that important? Because the grant funder is going to ask you, where else does money come from? The grant funder is going to ask you in the application, what is your plan for sustainability? All right. The other thing that you want to do is start small and scale responsibly. What most of you guys do is you start your program and then you start another program and then you start another program. It's not about the program, it's about the impact, right? So, how do you scale? Donors want to see stability, not speed. So, for those of you that started your nonprofit programs, right, you barely got that off the ground, then you started doing something else, and then you started doing something else, but you've not been able to show and prove that you are meeting a need, that you are bringing solution and result, that that program worked. If you're just doing a lot of programs, right? We're doing this, we're doing that, we're feeding the homeless, we're giving away backpacks, we're doing our school supplies, we're helping the children, we're putting people in hotels. The donors want to see stability, not speed. They want to know that you know how to scale responsibly. They invest in administrative readiness. And this is the foundation of every dollar that you hope to raise. You don't need to look perfect, but you do need to look trustworthy. How do you start a program and then say, Jen, we ran out of money? Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I don't know how to get donors. I don't know how to get board members. Jen, I started my nonprofit and funding is my biggest challenge. But you're the CEO. Administratively, do you know how to onboard board members? Do you know the roles and responsibilities of board members? Do you know how to have a conversation with the people to give them reason to trust your organization? Administratively, are you ready to run this organization? Or is your only focus the program? Well, the program and the administration are two different things. The donor, the funder, the supporter, the contributor, they're giving to the administration. They're not giving to that program. And in most cases, you all did not set up the administration. You set up the program. Someone commented on a post earlier today, and I had to respond. I thought about it for like this. I had to respond. Okay. Because this whole idea of their response was, oh, ask AI, ask chat what to do. And basically, what chat is telling you to do is to do it yourself. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Mind you, you've never done it. Mind you, you don't know how to do it. And neither does chat. But let me tell you why you should not build this alone. And let me speak to you, founder to founder, leader to leader, CEO to CEO. You can absolutely try to build this structure yourself, but it will take you years of trial, error, stress, and lost funding opportunities. You don't know what you don't know. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but we had to stop. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I'm just doing everything by myself. So I'm not able to do everything like I should be doing. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I'm stuck and I don't know how to get unstuck. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I got board members, but my board members can't help me. Well, what are you giving them to help you? Are you training them? Do you know how to train them? Do you know how to develop them? Do you know what to give them so that they are qualified and prepared to help you? It will take you years. I was talking to someone today. They said they've had their organization since 2008. They just been thumping along, thumping along, thumping along. Very proud that they had $300 in the bank. Very proud they had $300 in the bank and wanted me to get them a grant. I'm like, the grant fund is going to look at your financials and say, well, what's your plan for sustainability? Who else is giving to the organization? He couldn't answer the question. I said, you don't have a money issue. You don't have a money issue. Your issue is you're trying to figure this thing out on your own. That's it. Jen, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Jen, I don't know how to fix it. Jen, I don't know what to do next. Because if you could have seen ahead of time where you were going, I'm sure you would have pumped the brakes. But because you did not see where you were going ahead of time, now you are square in a ditch. You're in a ditch and you're wondering why your board can't help you. And I'm like, why? What do you mean your board can't help you? Did we interview the board? Are we prepared to onboard the people that are going to serve on the board? Do we know the roles and responsibilities of the board? So is the issue the board or is the issue administratively we don't know what to do with the board? Because you're trying to do it by yourself. You're just trying to, now listen, trial and error is your personal experience. But let me tell you who's not doing trial and error. Your donors are not doing trial and error. Your funders, your supporters, your contributors, they are not fooling around with their money with your trial and error. Okay? You can build and structure it yourself. You can pay for it yourself, or you can get help. I had someone ask me today, he said, well, Jen, what are your qualifications? What are your qualifications? I said, well, I've got 40 years of experience working in national and international nonprofit leadership. I've served thousands of organizations. I've raised millions of dollars for organizations. I've taught organizations how to do it. I build it with you, not for you. But I think that that's not the right question, right? The person that says, Jen, well, what's your qualifications? Or Jen, what's your success rate? Now, I've got books, I've got experience. Those of you that have been following me for years, clearly I know what I'm talking about. I got testimonials. I don't think the question is, what are your results? Or the question might be, well, what's my guarantee? What's my guarantee, Jen? I don't think that's the right question. Let me tell you what I think the right question is. I wrote them down, okay? This is the right question. This is the right question. That if you don't get help and if you decide to do it by yourself, I want you to get a pen and a piece of paper now. I want y'all to be ready to answer these questions, okay? The first question is, how much money will I lose by staying unstructured for another 6 months to a year? If I stay just the way I am right now, how much money will I lose over the next 6 to 12 months? How many grant opportunities will I miss? How many donors who gave before but haven't given again? How many more donors will I lose? How long will my board not be equipped to help the organization raise money? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Okay. Don't ask me because I already know how to do this. I'm asking you to ask yourself, how will I build compliance, governance, and a fundraising system that I'm supposed to have by myself? How will I build a fundraising system by myself? Because the truth is this, if you could have built one, you would have built one. But ask yourself, how long am I going to pay for this thing out of my pocket? What is the cost of a failed grant application because I applied too early or I did not have what the grant funder needed? I'm telling you what to ask yourself. Ask yourself this one. What is my contingency plan when the board asks for a strategic plan that I don't have? What is my plan? What is going to be my response? And the last question is, how will I reach $100,000 to $200,000 in revenue without a roadmap? Without a roadmap. Those are simple questions. Listen, this isn't about motivation. This is not about inspiration. This is about building an organization correctly so that your donors and your funders feel safe. If you're tired of feeling invisible, unsupported, underfunded, and overwhelmed, then it's time to stop doing this thing by yourself. That's if you're tired. Some of y'all ain't tired yet. That's fine. But if this message resonated with you and you finally understand why donors aren't giving and what needs to change, then let's have a readiness conversation. Okay? We'll look at your current structure, your gaps, what funders see, what needs to be fixed, and how quickly we can implement it. The organization must raise funds. It can take years alone or months with help. It can take years alone or months with help. The next move is yours. Okay. I talk to a lot of nonprofit organizations. And in my work of doing this, there are two groups. One group that says, Jen, I'm ready to move. And then another group that says, I'm not sure. That group that's in the I'm not sure, you already know where you're going to end up. But those that say, Jen, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to build. I'm ready to develop an organization that my community, my donors, my funders, my supporters can trust. That's where the money is. That's where the donations are. That's where your capacity to get grant funding is. This is not personal. This is not personal. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting your lack of structure. Okay? They're saying no to the way you're structured. Jen, I got a program. but I don't have a budget. Jen, I have a nonprofit organization, but I'm doing everything by myself. Jen, I have a program, but I haven't evaluated my program. I have a board, Jen, but they're not active. That's not how it's supposed to be set up. And your donors and your funders know, and that's how they are responding. Money is not the issue. Money is not your issue. Money is not your issue. Your administrative entity not being set up is your issue. All right. Listen, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you very much for being interested, in the subject matter that I share. I've been doing this work for 39 years. This year is going to be 40. And I love the work of the nonprofit. I am committed to helping organizations build structures for sustainability. I'm here to do the work for you. If that will help you get it done quicker, I'm here to guide you to make sure that you understand how to do it and how to keep it going. I'm here to give you information. And I hope that this information resonates and makes sense. All right. I am your nonprofit expert over 39 years, here to help make sure that you don't just start your nonprofit, but you know how to structure it for sustainability so that when you retire, your organization is able to continue to do the work to benefit and improve your community. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you next time.